I'm going to call the pre-council meeting for the city of Ashtabula to order.
Okay.
Today is Monday, June 15th, 2026. I will call the roll. Mr. Roskovich is here. Mr. Simeone absent. Mrs. Foglio.
Here.
Mr. Guerrero.
Here.
Ms. Holman.
Present.
Mrs. Mills.
Here.
Mrs. DeGiacomo.
Here.
Mrs. Milberg is absent this evening. Mr. Timonier.
Here.
Ms. Cooper.
Here.
And Mr. Khan.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, with that in mind, we are going to review the agenda for our meeting this evening. We have the roll, we have the president's report. I have nothing to offer except our next meeting will be July 6th. It is a Monday, not a holiday, and it will be at 6 o'clock. So July 6th at 6 o'clock. We had our budget hearing tonight at 5:30, and then at that meeting on July 6th, we will vote to send the budget to the county. Okay, I don't see anything else, so we will go straight to our administrative team. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. President. So first, I'm requesting an ordinance to enter into change order number 1 with the Lake County Landscape and Supply. There's no change to the cost of the contract to complete the sidewalk restoration on West Avenue. This was, I believe, in the contract, we listed prevailing wage. Because of the funds that we're getting, it actually has to specify Davis-Bacon wage. So that's the change order in there, is to correct the contract, and that language is all included in your packet. Next is for the garbage truck that we spoke about, the used garbage truck from Refuse. We'd like to make that purchase in the amount not to exceed $63,500. There's an amendment to the concierge nurse navigator agreement addendum. I'd like an ordinance to authorize the addendum to the agreement. This is where we're doing all the renewals now for our healthcare. The concierge nurse navigators goes from $15 to $18 now. We have the Walnut Beach lifeguard contract tonight before you, requesting an ordinance with the YMCA for the lifeguards, amount not to exceed $41,215.20, and that does come out of the park levy fund. This is a significant increase over last year. As I've mentioned in previous meetings, the policy of the YMCA nationwide has changed on how they guard where they need a manager or a supervisor at the property along with the lifeguards. So this will be 3 staff members instead of 2. They've also asked for a little bit of admin money as well in their contract. But last year, I think the amount not to exceed was in the $22,000, $23,000 range because they didn't guard the beach a lot because of weather and things like that. I think it was between 15 and 18,000 total that we paid out. So this is if it's guarded every day, and we know that we won't have perfect weather every day. But this is the maximum total that we could be on the hook for. Next is an ordinance to enter into a partnership with the county to file the Ohio Department of Development Service Agency's CHIP application, Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program grant funds. This is just a partner request, and as you know, we do the administration for all of the CHIP funds that are distributed throughout the city. We have change order number 1 to the Katz Construction Main Avenue project. It's for a deduction of $3,276. Basically, if the trench that was dug out, instead of putting a lower base of asphalt, they filled it with concrete because it was available, it was cheaper, and we already had those trucks running. So now they're getting ready to just do the top coat of asphalt. But that change from the asphalt undercoat to the concrete is where the deduct of $3,000 came from.
Mr. President, Mr. Timonier,
Oh, you want to ask about that?
You want to ask about that one, or?
No,
I've
I'm
got two
sorry, I
more.
just wanted to
Yep.
ask when the lifeguards were gonna start.
Yeah, I've got, oh, like,
There's two on the back.
20,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
The
sorry.
29th of February, or February, 29th of this month, so 2 more weeks.
Thank you.
Yep, yeah.
Sorry, Terry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I didn't know there was a.
Yeah.
Next, I'm requesting to repeal ordinance number 2026-54 to enact new legislation to enter an MOU for administration of the Appalachian Community Grant Program with Eastgate Regional Council of Governments for the facade program. If you recall, we did a sub-recipient grant agreement for this. As we keep diving in and the rules somewhat keep changing, our city's procurement policy, which we've had on the ballot to try to change, does not at all work for this project. So we would like to cancel that subrecipient grant agreement, and Eastgate's procurement policy will be in play because Eastgate is actually who's getting the money and then distributing it to the communities. But we want this MOU so that we can still play a role in the administration of the program. So we're still helping all of the businesses, we're still helping all the businesses put their bids together. We're helping them get contracts and all of that stuff, but the procurement policies will come out of Eastgate, not come out of the city. And lastly, this is not on your agenda for tonight, so this would be a future consideration. It's for the purchase of recycling and rubbish containers from Waste Equipped LLC. So it's an ordinance to enter a contract with them, not to exceed $296,030. And they are on a source well contract, so that it's sort of like state purchasing. So it's where we got them before. They'd be the exact same toters as what we have already.
You have something now, Mr. Guerrero? No. Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. Timonir, I know this is a high-level question. You might need a little more specificity, but for right now, what was the number of the applicants who submitted to participate in the facade program?
Facade program?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think originally it was 24. I think we're still between that 22 and 24 people that are going to participate in the program. I think over half of them have contracts already out. Contracts are being signed. I think some work started today at the Tobias Salon. So they're starting. Yep.
And what criteria may have prevented the continual participation? For example, some who are not able to continue with the program, what have been some of the reasons or rationale for that?
We put a deadline because of the time frame that the money had to be spent. We needed to know all the projects that were in. And then once we decided the funding of how it was going to be distributed, I mean, we were distributing it all. The only criteria that somebody could not participate was if they had back taxes owed, property tax or something like that. I don't think there was anything else on there that said you can't participate if. Now, we have had discussions with people who have had vacant buildings for a long time, who wanted to be part of this and have no plan of what they're going to do with that money, or would do with the building even if they got the facade program money. And some of those buildings we've decided not to give funding to because we just don't want a nice facade without an actual something happening with the building. I want to say there's 3 of those 24 are roofing projects. So, but a lot of them are awnings, doors, windows that you're going to see coming up here pretty quick.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So have we been able to get contractors for all of that at this point?
So far,
Because I know that
yeah.
was a challenge.
So they usually have a a pre-bid meeting where contractors show up and they go over the scope of the entire project. They're usually at the site, and then those contractors decide whether they're going to bid on it. So far, we've been doing okay.
So everything has been bidded on at this point?
Not all projects have been bid. Over half of them have been bid.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Timonir, on the garbage truck, 63,500, from Fund 412. That is, again, the general fund?
That's the permanent improvement fund.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
But it's not the sanitation fund?
No, and we were just having some discussion here of whether or not it needs to be monies going from the general into sanitation and then purchased, or whether or not it can be purchased out of there. The line that Mr. Khan and I found, there is a line in 412 that says sanitation equipment.
Okay.
So
That may be.
I think, yeah.
And so, and then for your future consideration, the $296,000 for the recycling bins would come from 412 also.
We would have to, yeah, we'll have to. Yeah, we'll have to make that determination here. Yeah.
I just want to be upfront. I don't want to surprise anybody. I cannot support that. I cannot support spending almost $300,000 taking money out of, if it was in the sanitation fund, if we'd got the grant, that would be great. I think it would be great if the whole city could have that. But at this point, and based on the budget we saw, I just don't feel comfortable spending that much money from an account that, that taking it from accounts that we may need down the road. And I think I mentioned, when I came to council, we were hurting. And I know when you came to council, you were really hurting. And so with that in my mind, with that in my memory, I just can't feel good about this, because I don't, it would be nice, but to me, it's just not an emergency. So I just want to share that up front.
Mr. President, and I respect that opinion. I would only say I think you all know me, that I'm very conservative when it comes to the budget, and I try to watch every penny that we have coming in and out, contrary to what some people believe, and that's why we have the carryover we do. And we have the carryover for things like this. We have not asked for big purchases like this and to move the budget around, and honestly, when you look at it too, the ability for us to loan the money to water pollution for the jet and be able to pay that back without interest. I mean, I think that's a big benefit to the community. Now, in this particular case, because of the sanitation fund being what it is, I don't see a payback there for this 300,000. We could look at it again, but I don't
see that.
I don't see that happening right now.
Yeah,
No.
and like I said, I totally respect your opinion on this, but, that jet, we have to keep our sewers clean, we have to keep that water flowing and so forth. But for me, like I said, this is just not an emergency, I could talk to almost any resident in the city, and they're gonna have their idea of an emergency. My road hasn't been paved in 10 years. I got dilapidated buildings that need, there's a lot of things that would qualify. So please understand that. Like I said, I would love to do it, but I just wouldn't be able to support that. I want to make you, and I, again, appreciate all the work you guys are doing on that.
Mr. President,
Yes.
can I ask, Mr. Manager, so for the truck, the garbage truck, which I'm excited that we're getting that from a local business, Refuse Equipment and Truck Services is on State Road. So with the old truck that is hideous, can we get anything?
Scrap. It'll
Just-
go in one of our auctions and see what, it's not roadworthy. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if somebody wanted to dump way too much money into it, they could.
yeah.
But
It's
we're
the
not.
money pit.
Yeah, we're not putting any
Yeah.
more money into
It's like the
that.
street sweeper.
No, it's back up and running. So she's been
Today.
out there. So, yep.
I was going to ask you, so for the lifeguards, when I was reading their contract, so we have, do we pay individually, or do they get that bulk amount? Because
It's the
when,
bulk amount per hour guarded. So basically what I told them was, whatever you need to guard the beach for an hour, come up with that number and tell me what that number is. So that number includes 3 staff members and whatever administrative costs and everything that they need to
Okay.
guard the beach for
So
an
that
hour.
wasn't, when I was doing like
That's not
that
per lifeguard, no.
$117 or whatever, and then
No.
the holiday, I was like, I'm in the wrong,
Yeah, no, that's,
I need to go take some swim lessons.
that's rather than saying, here's what each individual, I just said, give me a number per
That's
hour to
it
guard the
for-
beach, and we'll go
Okay.
that way.
Okay. And I mean, most of the beaches, and I've traveled a lot recently, Europe and all that, and places don't have lifeguards.
We're the
So, I
only one in
mean,
the county.
we're very fortunate that we do have this.
Mm-hmm.
People go down there and that they can feel safe. Do they still have the thing when they're on duty and not? Is it
Yeah, there's a
marked down
sign that they
there?
flip. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I wanted to ask on the CHIP
Yes.
grant fund. So that activity budget, when it narrows it down into a dollar amount, home repairs, how many outcomes, are those applicants already in? Do they,
So we haven't, this is just we haven't even applied for the grant yet. So this is just our participation with it. This ordinance will go down with the grant to show that there's collaboration between the communities. We've
Okay.
always collaborated, but if you remember last year, we did not get this grant. So, we're hoping this time it'll be successful again. But we apply with the county is the lead on it. And we do that because we get more money rather than doing it on our own.
right. So when we do, what's the deadline to spend?
I do not, that'll all be in the terms of the agreement that the county will sign once it's awarded. But I don't think the spend is till next year. We have never had a lack of applicants, ever.
Nope.
Yeah.
And it's first
Typically-
come, first serve.
And typically, they know before we do. Yeah.
So I was going to ask you one last question for the Appalachian grant.
Yeah.
That ending date, now that for the MOU of October 31st, that's still the same, so everything, so that's coming close.
Fast, not close, fast. Yeah,
So if something's not done by that date, then,
it doesn't get paid. This is all work, all invoices, checks cut, done.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
So have the merchants been pretty cooperative with their end of the deal on that?
Yeah, I think so. And just so you know too, the contracts that we're signing for these facade programs have those specific dates in them. They have to be done by, and we don't let, it's earlier because we know that administration takes time to get the checks cut and delivered and cashed and all that. So, but all the contracts have that. The merchants, I can't say enough about the merchants. I've never seen a community where they've been told they had to close for a day or made the decision to close for a day and we're excited about it. But we've had that happen down here. There've been people, hey, I'm closed today because my sidewalks are getting done. And so it's been a good, and Katz Construction has communicated extremely well, I believe, with all of the merchants on what's going on. So we're a little early ahead of schedule. That's why it's dark down here now in Maine. We had to take the poles down on the other side so that we could start the sidewalk work on the east side now. And poles, I know there's been some rumors floating around that they're severely delayed. It's still July. It's always been July. Poles were a long lead time when we first signed the contract, so we're hoping those come soon. Nice thing is we did spec King Luminaire, so they're another local Ashtabula County company that hopefully will get us the poles earlier than we wanted.
Mr. President, Mr. Manager, Main Avenue looks really, really nice until you get to the stoplight and you look at the municipal building.
That's correct.
Do we have anything?
We do. We have sort of a lead. We're going to meet with a person in the next couple weeks about the potential project there.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's great news.
Mr. President, one thing for the manager. I got a street light out on East 6th Street.
Okay. Just need a close address and it gets submitted to the illuminating company.
Okay.
We can submit that. Yep.
Yeah, they're good, yeah.
I have one,
Oh, okay.
I have
We
one
necessarily
thing,
need
a
that, but
question.
It's helpful.
So on 58th Street, this is my understanding. So when patching's first done, it's not like clean edges.
Correct.
Once they have clean edges, then that's a permanent patch, right?
Depends. It depends. Sometimes they're able to saw cut it before they do work. And that's a temporary patch when it's in there, and then they come back and do the full patch. But typically, when you say there's clean edges, it's been saw cut.
So, on 58th near Washington, and I think I asked about this last time, but I actually drove over it. And all the patches leading up to it are all clean, like they're done. And then you get near Washington on 58th, and I looked at that patch and it's not clean, so did they miss it
probably-
or?
Or it could be a more recent cut.
Well, they all are recent. I mean, 58th was just paved not too long ago.
So you have both, I believe both the gas company and water company working out there, so it could be a combination of that.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So
if
how would
you
we
said it's
find-
near,
It's near Washington on 58th? I mean, when you're driving, you can feel it, and then I'm like, well, did we miss it? Or they're coming back to it?
my guess is if it's not the clean edges, then they're coming back to it. But we can take a look and see if we can narrow it down to which company it is.
I have no idea.
No, we'll find out.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
when we get to the part in the regular meeting, we zip through the agenda, but are we allowed to ask questions on that now? Like on an ordinance number or
Usually,
wait until we get to,
you'd have a motion and a second, and then you would ask questions about the ordinances.
I mean, we could, I don't see why we couldn't discuss it now, but it's up to you guys. Is it one of mine?
it's 2026, 119. It's the repeal and replace the capital improvement policy. I just was wondering the why of from 25,000 to the 2,500. That's,
So that's, I was planning to explain this
okay.
change. Yep.
Well, then, when you get to it, your report, you can do that then.
Yep.
Super.
It's because I begged him. We need a little bit lower threshold.
Okay. I figured something like that, but
Well,
it was on my radar.
We're on the finance director's report now. Mr. Timner, you were done.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Only one thing, we're still seeing a lot of people putting bags curbside. The curbside has ended, and we've done 2 laps around the city already. So if people have bags out, it's not that we missed them, it's now they're putting it out after we've been by, even after the program ended. So just a reminder that the leaf bag pickup has ended.
Yeah, that's a good reminder.
So can you put a post on that for Facebook, or maybe you already have, I don't know.
I haven't done an updated one, but I can, yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
And Mr. Timonier, while you are finished with the pickup, residents continue to take them and dump their bags at the
At the,
sanitation department? Yeah.
yes, at the Public Works, that's where they can bring them, yes.
Okay, Mr. Khan?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a few items for tonight. And the first one is an ordinance enacting adoption of the City of Ashtabula unclaimed funds policy. And that was one of the recommendations by the state auditors. This policy establishes a standardized procedure for the identification, administration, and return of unclaimed funds to lawful owners and supports compliance with applicable audit requirements. The next item is an ordinance authorizing finance director of the City of Ashtabula to determine salary allocations among various city funds. That was also a recommendation by the state auditors this year. And the last item is an ordinance adopting an amended City of Ashtabula capital improvement policy, where we are decreasing the general provisions, Section 2, Item 1 of the policy to $2,500 of the City of Ashtabula capital improvement policy, and this adjustment in this particular parameter to be in the best interest of the City of Ashtabula General Fund long-term financial health. it's too technical to explain, but this move will not change the gap conversion process on the accounting side, but it will allow some flexibility to and get access to permanent improvement fund number 412, just in the nutshell.
Okay. Does that, Mrs. Mills, that was your question about, right? 219 or 1?
Yes, and I wasn't sure on the 2026-114 for the allocations about the city funds. That's also like for audit compliance, that's all?
Right.
And that's something the finance director already does for us, with, when we allocate funds between, part of my funds come out of sanitation because I supervise sanitation. Part of my funds come out of water pollution because I supervise. Part of Vlad's funds come out of there because he does all the accounting for those departments. So it's to allow him to allocate that. Just something we've been doing all this time, now it needs to be on paper.
Okay, very good, very good, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Khan.
Oh, Mr. President?
Yes.
I had one other question. So for the 2026-113 unclaimed funds policy, so unfortunately that we can't put that somewhere to get interest, right? No, to collect?
It generates interest because the cash is in our banks, and we have continuous interest earning
Okay,
feature called a sweep account. However, there is a provision in the policy that we don't pay interest to the lawful owners because we're not an investment bank.
Okay.
So we keep the interest, basically.
The city keeps the interest basically earned on the unclaimed funds from the residents.
so then it doesn't go back, say after the 5 years, it doesn't go into the general fund, it goes to wherever fund that it was allocated for? Is that? Because we get to keep it after 5 years, if it's not claimed.
If it's not claimed, we have to move it to a trust fund called unclaimed monies, which is fund number 166 in the chart of accounts, for 5 years and wait. And then after 5 years, we return the funds back to the original funds that generated that
Okay,
funds. But that doesn't mean that the lawful owners the lawful owners can claim their funds regardless where the money is.
okay,
They just need to go through the process.
okay.
And we do put a very strict verification process for that we can discuss with each individual claim when the time comes.
How are we doing with hitting that 5-year mark and keeping those funds?
The process,
Yeah, I mean, do people claim a lot of those, or is that?
I don't have the actual statistics on the claims, but I can find out.
We don't have a lot of unclaimed funds.
No. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
previously, we've had an update on the balance in our investments. You've given us that publicly. And perhaps I should take some city funding course. But how does what we have in investment help us when we have a deficit or not? We have money in investments, and you guys have reported. And we also just had conversation about shortfall and deficits.
It's because of the carryover balances. So the monies we have in reserve that we don't need for daily cash, it gets invested, and then that ultimately helps the bottom line with the investments coming back into the budget that we're able to spend. We don't have monies tied up in a way that we can't access what we need to operate.
Can or cannot?
we can access the monies that we need if something were to happen. And that's why we have the two accounts, the STAR account and then the meter managed account. The STAR account, we can pull at any time, and I think we keep about 2 million, 3 million in there.
Yep.
And then the rest of the money is invested. It's a little bit longer term. We can still get to it, but it's not as easy as being able to pull from STAR. So we've taken it, rather than just having a basic account, we've figured out what the cash flow needs are of the city. We're able to put that money aside. And so even though we're deficit spending, once we won't be putting more of those funds in to be invested, and we'll just keep those in the general to keep us going and be able to deficit spend.
I think I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, the investment you have to think of more on a cash flow rather than a budgetary.
But it's
Yeah.
good to hear that we have long-term investments and we
Correct.
also have short-term that are liquid.
Yes, that's a must, yeah. And to be honest, up until recently, Star Ohio, which is a kind of a collateral pool for the state, has performed almost as good as your bigger investments. For a time when the market was really good, they were around 4%, 5% interest. So we were doing well with them.
Mr. President,
Yes.
for all the savings that we've done, remember, when you came into office, we were, what, $1.2 million in the hole?
We had a carryover of just over $100,000 my first year.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Cooper, do you have anything for us this evening?
I do.
You do?
I do. So the first thing is I just kind of need an okey dokey. I was contacted by the Geauga County prosecutor. They now handle all of the municipal cases in the Chardon Municipal Court. They've got a case they have a conflict in. So he's asked if I can be appointed as special prosecutor for their conflict case. They will pay the city my salary for the hours that I'm in Chardon. So they'll reimburse the city for my services if that's okay with council. I just kind of need a yay or nay.
Mr. President, I make whatever motion we need to give her the permission to go.
I'll second that.
I mean, it comes in handy because I have a case that
Right,
I would
right.
like to conflict, and I can get them to look at it without, as a courtesy, if I agree to do this. I have a similar arrangement with Conneaut. I went over there today and handled a case in Conneaut. They had a conflict. John Lewis has been over here several times to handle cases where we have a conflict. And generally, our conflicts are a city employee got a speeding ticket or some sort of traffic incident usually. And so it's just best to have somebody from outside handle it.
Now,
Is everyone, oh,
but now when they come to us, do we pay their salary? Is there reciprocity there?
I think that he is so grateful to have somebody take this that he will not ask for reciprocity, provided I don't take advantage of the situation. Right now, there's just one case. So if I can get them to review this one file as part of this arrangement, that would be fantastic.
Thank you.
is everybody comfortable with having her do that? All right, hearing no one, that's fine. The only caveat would be that make sure you come back.
Because he has a really pretty office.
I was
but,
gonna say, Geauga County, that's nice, you know.
It's very nice there.
Okay.
But the second thing I have is, got a phone call from the people who are the neighbors to the house on 23rd Street that needs cleaned up, so I just wanted to update everybody. We are in a position now where the city can go ahead and start the cleanup. It's just a matter of bidding it out and getting the money appropriated.
Good, that's good.
But we're in a situation now where the city can move forward, correct, Mr. Manager?
That's correct, and we'll be contacting some scrappers that we think are able to do the job and getting what this is going to cost.
Good, I'm glad to hear.
So,
That's a
so
long.
what changed that we're in a position now?
Enough time has expired. So the
Okay.
problem when they were here was that there was confusion about whether the order had been served on the homeowner or not. Enough time has expired now that even if it was served when we believe it was served, 30 days has gone and he hasn't filed an appeal.
I gotcha.
So we're good to go.
It's just the process.
Even being conservative, we're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. The third thing is, I know that at the city parade, and I would anticipate we're gonna have more parades, on behalf of law enforcement and the other first responders, we would ask that whoever's giving instructions to the people who are watching the, blockade isn't the right word, but you know what I mean, who's watching the streets that are blocked, that first responders and law enforcement need to be able to get through. That's just a communication thing that we would ask be made clear in the future to everybody who's manning a block street. Is that fair, Lieutenant? Okay, that's all.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if I may, I'd like to make a comment on that comment. And I hope you all will be patient. So it came to my attention that there was some concern about that.
There were some questions, yes.
So I'm responding to the issue, if you will, regarding my traffic control assignment. I don't know if it was brought up for anyone else, but I will certainly comment on my own during the Memorial Day Parade. Me in particular, my primary objective was to ensure public safety by managing the flow of traffic and preventing vehicles from entering the active parade route. I managed my post using my best discretion, ensuring complete fairness and showing no favoritism to any vehicle regardless of who the driver was. Now, for the vast majority of the assignment, I was directing traffic alone, except for a brief period when other volunteers arrived to assist. Regular police officers were not stationed at my post to direct traffic. I believe there should be a level of professional courtesy extended to volunteers who give up their time to protect these routes. It's incredibly difficult to ask the general public to comply with traffic restrictions when official or unmarked vehicles choose to ignore those exact same rules in front of them. Now, an unmarked vehicle attempted to bypass the traffic cones and entered the restricted area where I was. And while I understand this may have been an operational vehicle, it did not present any visible signs of any active emergency. There were no emergency sirens or lights activated. There was no clear indication of any immediate call or arrest in progress. When an unmarked car bypasses barricades without clear emergency signaling, it creates a cascading logistical problem. People who are looking on or drivers, when they see one vehicle pass through, and immediately demand to know why they are being held back, which severely compromises the integrity of the area being protected. So for me as a volunteer, I was tasked with a specific duty. If certain personnel, whether they were police, fire, or city workers, were permitted to cut through the route, perhaps a formal access list or protocol should have been provided to volunteers ahead of time. Now, I understand that with law enforcement, there is something called professional courtesy. While I'm not a police officer, I am a volunteer. So extending an unverified courtesy under those conditions where cars were already moving in both directions would have compromised safety. So again, for me, my actions were entirely in line with my duty to protect the parade route. In fact, some city workers explicitly recognized the difficulty of the job and expressed their appreciation for my firm, consistent approach to keep the route secure. Now, moving forward, as you mentioned, clear guidelines on vehicle exemptions would prevent these types of misunderstandings in the future, at least for me, but I would imagine extending that same courtesy to all volunteers would be appreciated.
And, Mr. President, I think that was the point of my statement, was going forward, I don't know who gives the instructions, but first responders and law enforcement vehicles who are first responders should be allowed through, especially if they're headed to the police department.
Right,
There was a vehicle, I understand what you're saying, in that the unmarked vehicle, they just went a different route. But it's my understanding as well that there was a police vehicle that was prevented from going through, somebody in uniform. So all we're asking is that at the next parade, the instructions are clear in terms of granting first responders access regardless of the situation. They're not stupid. They're not going to try and go through the parade itself as the parade is coming down the street. But especially if law enforcement is trying to get to the police department or the fire department is trying to get to the firehouse, we would ask that we be granted access to do that. I'm just saying going forward, because I don't know what instructions were given. Wasn't there, don't know. I'm just asking, as you said, it would be much easier if the instructions were clearer to all of the volunteers. I agree that first responders be allowed through. That's all.
And I hope that there's an opportunity to debrief that, because I do think that the parade was well planned. And again, being there with cones and having to move cones back and forth, it seems less of a burden for a police car if it wasn't a call of duty, if it wasn't an emergency, if there were no sirens, if there was no imminent need or threat, that they simply follow the same restrictions and the path to go around to prevent any other cars from then complaining about, well, you let these cars go through, why can't you let all of them through, which would have made a bigger problem.
And
So-
that'll be a decision for whoever's responsible for the parade next. That'll be up to them to set those guidelines.
Oh, I'm not sure about that, but if there is a meeting for a debrief, I would like to participate in that so I could share my experience and what it felt like. Overall, I think it went smoothly and it was a wonderful, and I hope we do it again. However, I did feel as though law enforcement felt a bit like entitled, and they shouldn't have to follow the same guidelines as all the other drivers on the parade route. So,
Well,
Okay.
thank you.
Mr. President,
yes.
can I ask Madam Cooper something? I wanted to see where we were at with those rental properties where one person passed away. We had numerous rentals, like we had absent landlords, we had issues, people weren't paying rent, or maybe conditions weren't okay. Have we cleared that up now that there's the guardian and?
So we have referred all of those individuals to that guardian, and we're not involved in the process.
Okay,
That's entirely in the probate court and up to the guardian.
And
but
Mr.
hopefully less complaints and,
President,
Just
Mr.
sorta-
President, just, we have, the Solicitor's Office does forward over several of the filings for tax foreclosure, and those are starting to hit with those properties now. We're starting to see that name frequently coming over. So,
okay. And any updates on Harbor Ridge?
Thank you. I was going to ask the same question.
Harbor Ridge, any? Just a little update.
Yes and no. Harbor Ridge has been very active the past couple weeks for a lot of reasons. But we've had issues about Harbor Ridge thinking the work is done and the city not necessarily thinking the work is done. So the last communication was to please give us the name of the contractors. We're reaching out to the contractors, or the planning office is reaching out to the contractors directly to see what work they've completed and how far along that process they are. And then once the contractor says the work is done, we'll go in and inspect the unit and then clear the units from there. But until the city says this unit is okay to occupy, they should still be vacated.
So there's, some are still in apartments, or, I mean, hotels, or
They should be.
should be, okay. Not in the unit if it's,
Right, now, some of them have been, some people, they've managed to get into new units. So they were in hotels, but they've been able to put them into units that are habitable.
okay.
So
Can
they
I
have been
ask,
getting
how
some
many
people out.
units are there? Because I know, it's pretty big.
I don't recall, Mr. President, I'm sorry, I don't recall how many units are in that particular building. But I want to say there were still 8 that are vacated right now. I think there's 8 that are still vacated in that one particular building.
Okay.
So to me, this is an example of how we could have a new income stream. When you have a person like this, you just keep first offense, second offense, third offense, fourth offense.
For the businesses.
But it's,
For the business.
it's not. So there is a judgment entry in place. And if progress does not continue, then I suspect we will be taking them back to court for contempt, and then it'll be up to the judge to decide what the contempt citation will look like.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And I just wanted to thank Ms. Cooper because we sort of switched topics there. I was going to make a comment before we sort of switched up. But I just want to thank you for addressing the issue about the Memorial Day Parade. It was brought to my attention as a council member, and I just want the policemen to know that we so appreciate their help and their efforts during these events. And certainly, our efforts should be a cooperation as much as possible. We certainly appreciate all they do. I just told Mr. Timonier that I was at the festival this weekend, and I just shared with him, boy, we have some really, really nice policemen, really good policemen, and they were just there and interacting and professional, and so we appreciate them at those kind of events, as well as sorry that this incident took place, but we appreciate their efforts. So, okay. All right, we will move on to, excuse me. I got a lot of papers I'm using here, and I'm sort of, committee reports, right? Thank you, Mr. Guerrero. And who's first on my list?
Community development.
Community Development.
So the Community Development, Economic Development, and Parks and Recreation Committee met on June 3rd, 2026. The committee received a housing market presentation from local estate broker and contractor, Bruce Schossler. Discussion focused on residential housing trends, home ownership rates, house affordability, neighborhood revitalization, and the role of tax abatements and other incentives in encouraging investment within the city of Ashtabula. City Manager Jim Timonier provided updates regarding code enforcement activity, the ongoing review of the city's community reinvestment area, tax abatement program, and progress on the Main Avenue reconstruction project. The committee also discussed future options for encouraging home ownership and supporting housing rehabilitation efforts throughout the city. As liaison to the Parks Board, I reported on the success of the 2026 Memorial Day Parade and Veterans Ceremony. That event included 31 parade units and was well attended by residents. Thank you letters have been prepared for all participants, volunteers, and sponsors who helped make the event possible. Under unfinished business, the committee reviewed the city's food truck legislation. Following discussion, the committee voted to recommend legislation removing the annual FBI and BCI background check requirement permitting process and forward the legislation to council for consideration. Under new business, the committee reviewed a draft moratorium related to data centers. Following discussion, the matter was tabled to allow additional review by the city solicitor and further committee consideration. The next meeting of the Community Development, Economic Development, Parks and Rec Committee is scheduled for July 1st. The Northeast Ohio Community Resilience Center and Preparedness Council will be the guest.
Are you asking for a resolution to be drawn to, what would it be, repeal the,
It's on tonight's agenda.
is it?
I think it's on tonight's agenda for first reading.
Oh, okay, first reading, all right, okay. Finance and Personnel,
Our June 19th meeting is canceled because of the holiday, so our next meeting will be July 17th.
thank you. Public Works, Cables, and School,
Our next meeting is next Tuesday, the 23rd, here at 8:30 a.m. with guest Lisa Newsom, City Schools Superintendent.
thank you, Ms. Mills. Mr. Guerrero, Safety Forces,
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, we did have a meeting last Thursday, and I'll be brief. Lieutenant Mike Palinkas was at the meeting representing the police department, and he gave a very nice presentation about the FBI Safe Streets Task Force, which the Ashtabula Police Department has been a member of since 2021. We currently have 3 full-time task force officers and 4 part-time task force officers embedded with the FBI that help us make basically drug activity arrests. He kind of focused, it's a multiple county force, but he kind of gave us the Ashtabula version of it, with the investigations focused on gangs, crimes, firearms, and narcotics. And the 2025 seizure statistics were 2,675 grams of methamphetamines, 296 grams of fentanyl, 2,800 grams of marijuana, 800 grams of cocaine, 42 fentanyl pills, 629 grams of some kind of psychedelic mushrooms, 100 Xanax pills, 20 grams of crack cocaine, in addition to 74 firearms and nearly $24,000 in currency. And he noted that the bulk of those seizures were within Ashtabula County and the city, and that the drugs originating in the city tend to be filtered outward, throughout the region. The drugs that are seized, we asked what happens to these drugs once we get them, and after they go through the legal process. I'm assuming Ms. Cooper would know more than I would. They're used for evidence, that sort of stuff for the trials, and then they are ultimately destroyed via incineration following the court-mandated destruction order. The President Rostovich was in attendance at the meeting, and he asked about compensation, and the Lieutenant Palinkas clarified that the task force officers received no additional pay. They work, as part of their regular duty, so that's very nice of them to be on that committee. I'm assuming it's up and above their normal city duties. The fire department reported that the overall call volume continues to rise. Ambulance calls were up, but as a result of that, the revenue is up approximately $25,000 compared to the prior year. Mutual aid activity was described as within normal range. And the fire department's boat is fully operational now.
Mr. President, just a correction, it's the police department's boat.
It's in the fire It's in the fire department,
Yeah,
so.
it's the police, the boat belongs to the police department.
The police department's boat is in the water, and it is fully operational. There is written entrance exam is going to be administered, or was administered, and we had 10 candidates participate in the written exam, and then with the results, the next step would be a physical agilities test for those that want to continue on the process of possibly getting hired. And the Coast Guard was nice enough to agree to conduct a 40-hour boat operator class for fire and police personnel to help them, be more safety-minded when they're operating a boat. And then the city manager also reported that June 18th, there'll be a entrance examination for the police department. Will be requested for that at the civil meeting.
Civil Service will be meeting that day to get the dates together for police department, yes.
And then on just regular safety business, we did kind of review the bicycle legislation. I think Mrs. Giacomo, you wanted to talk about that. Well, we did. And we're pretty much going off the Ohio Revised Code bicycle things. And there was a couple things that we haven't made any decisions yet, but we might tweak some of that licensing requirement that is a little archaic. That'll probably come up next month, but we did review it, and we had a pretty nice talk about that. And then there was a traffic problem on West 9th Street. We're currently working on that too. So, and then we submitted. We adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Guerrero.
You're welcome.
Mr. President,
Yes.
can I ask, Terry, is there stuff about e-bikes in there?
Yes.
Is there? Okay.
In fact, it's a pretty comprehensive ordinance. I'm sure they'll email it to you. I don't have my paper copy with me right now, but it's.
Yeah, it defines class 1, 2, and 3 and the requirements of each and where they're allowed to ride, and it's all there.
Because I don't know if people realize that it's in there, and, I don't know if you've put anything on Facebook, but I always
Police
see on the.
department has, yes.
Yeah, on the news, other municipalities are getting big on that because they go so darn fast. And then, like, when we were little, it was, you were supposed to ride your bike do you ride it on the sidewalk? Do you ride it on the road? Do you ride it, so people can review on our website and go to the drop down under the ordinance. Search anything, a word will come up, and then you can kind of define it, but, okay.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero, in some of that data that you presented, what was the time frame?
It was the 2025 report.
All of
So I'm
2025.
assuming that was an annual, what they did. I'm sure it's not the same every year, but that was for 2025.
And does that seem reasonable, those amounts, or does they, because I don't have any
So I'm
idea
not a
what those
big
amounts,
either, so I'm not exactly sure.
I don't know what those amounts are like, which is a good thing.
With the occasional Xanax. But I can't really rationalize how much volume
Well, perhaps someone else can.
those amounts are, but I guess that's what it is.
So, Mr. President, Lieutenant Irwin is the head of the road division, and he's the operational director of the police department. He might be able to give you some perspective.
So, Lieutenant, just out of curiosity, in your, and then we're not gonna hold you to this, in your professional opinion, what would be 20 grams of crack cocaine if I had it in a mason jar? Would that,
The easiest way to put a gram in perspective is 1 gram is a sweet and low packet.
okay, all right, that works for us.
So does this confiscation seem high, normal? Can you just give
So Detective Palinkas, Lieutenant Palinkas is the one that does, I feel like this is echoing. He does all the statistics for that. He's the one that's running the Safe Streets Task Force. He has the direct contact with the FBI and all of their agents. So he's the one that would have the most accurate information. But in my conversations with him, our task force is one of the most productive task force in the region. If I can remember correctly, we're equal to, if not more, in seizures than Youngstown.
So using the same analogy, that was a good one, the sweet and low packet. 2,800 grams of marijuana would be,
I'd have to use my phone.
is that like a bale of hay? Is that like a?
Remember we talked about pinballs?
2,000.
I remember that conversation.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah, there you go.
'Cause
That's the one to worry.
okay, so that one, the fentanyl was, hold on a second. 296 grams of fentanyl. What, that would be the equivalent of,
I couldn't tell you how many fatalities that could cause, but it's a lot. A dab on the tip of your finger is enough to kill somebody. And like I said, a sweet and low packet is a gram, so 296 grams, I think is what you said.
okay.
That is a lot.
Thank you very much. We didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Thank you.
Thank you, officer. Okay. Okay, we are going, it's 7 o'clock.
Mr.
so-
President,
Yes.
can I just ask Terry, Coast Guard, are we, we're getting anybody back? Weekends, nothing, okay.
It won't be back this summer.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We had a couple items, I think, good to the order. These are things that can be brought up by counselors on our regular agenda. So at this time, I'm going to call the regular meeting for the city of council. Yes.
Let me
Oh, sorry.
switch this real quick.
Thank you. I'm going to call the regular meeting for the city of council to order. If at this time you would stand for the prayer and pledge, and if you would please stay standing for two moments of silence.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to let your inspiration precede this council's actions and all present here today, and your assistance further us so that every word and work of ours may take its beginning from you, and so may through you reach its completion. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
With liberty and justice for all.
For the first moment of silence, we would like to honor Patrol Officer David Clemens, who passed away this weekend. Officer Clemens was with the police department for 31 years before retiring in 2003. To me, he was always Coach Clem. He coached me at St. John during football, and I believe even basketball season. Well-known individual in the community. If you were around Officer Clemens, you were laughing. He was a great person, and I'm truly going to miss him. So a moment of silence for Officer David Clemens.
We would also have a moment of silence for Patrolman James Henry. Patrolman Henry was a 26-year service member for the City of Ashtabula Police Department. I worked with Mr. Henry for all the years that he worked for the city. He was a wonderful man and a absolutely positive role model. So we could have a moment of silence for Patrolman Henry.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, take attendance. Ms. Holman,
Present.
Mrs. Mills,
Here.
Mrs. DiGiacomo,
here.
Mrs. Foglio,
Here.
Mr. Guerrero,
Here.
Mr. Simeone. Mr. Roskovich is here. Mr. Timonier?
Here.
Ms. Cooper? Here. Ms. Khan?
Here.
Mr. Khan?
Here.
I'm sorry, I'm doing double duty here. Sorry about that, I apologize. And Ms. Milberg is absent. May I entertain a motion to excuse Mr. Simeone from tonight's meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion by
Mrs.
Mrs.
DiGiacomo.
DiGiacomo, yes. And a second by Ms. Holman. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Mr. Simeone will be excused by a 6-0 vote. We have a quorum present, and we are meeting the requirements of the Sunshine Law. We will approve our agenda after we read the ordinances, which I will do at this time. Ordinance 26-107, or ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter in a community reinvestment tax incentive agreement with Tamara Salient for the residential tax abatement, 100%, 7 years at 1034 Ohio Avenue. 2608, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a community reinvestment tax incentive agreement with Lindsay Stepp residential abatement for 100% for 7 years at 1802 West 10th Street. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a change order number 1 with Lake County Landscaping and Supply. There'll be no change in the cost, and this is regarding the sidewalk restoration on West Avenue. Ordinance 26-110, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to purchase a 2009 IHC 7400 garbage truck from sanitation, for the sanitation department, and this will be purchased from Refuse Equipment and Truck Service.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Before you move off of that ordinance, we would like to change that account fund where it's going to be paid out of. Instead of 412, the permanent improvement fund, we're going to take it out of 225, which is the sanitation fund.
225
Yes.
sanitation.
We'll be able to float that for the next 2 weeks until the finance director can do the appropriations ordinance from the general fund into 225.
Okay.
Just for accounting purposes, it should be cleaner.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Timonier.
Ordinance 26-111, an ordinance to authorize the addendum to the agreement with concierge nurse navigators. 26-112, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter in an agreement with the Ashtabula County YMCA for lifeguards. 26-113, an ordinance enacting adoption of the city on-claim fund policy. 26-114, an ordinance authorizing the finance director of the city of Ashtabula to determine salary allocations among various city funds. 26-115, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a partnership with the county of Ashtabula to file an application with the Ohio Development Service agencies to apply for a Community Housing Impact and Preservation Grant, known as the CHIP grant, funds. 26-116, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a change order number 1 with Katz Construction Incorporated for a deduction in cost for the Main Avenue streetscapes improvement. 26-117, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2654 for the purpose of enacting replacement legislation. Ordinance 26-118, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding for the administration of the Appalachian Community Grant Program with Eastgate Regional Council of Governments for the purpose of the Main Avenue Facade project within the city of Ashtabula. Ordinance 26-119, an ordinance repealing ordinance 2696 for the purpose of enacting replacement legislation. Ordinance 26120, an ordinance adopting an amended City of Ashtabula capital improvement policy. These items are on tonight for first reading, and they will not be voted on other than to waive the, ordinance 2697, an ordinance repealing in its entirety codified ordinance section 759.08 for the purpose of removing the requirement to obtain a completed FBI national and a BCI Ohio background check. And 2698, an ordinance enacting a new codified ordinance, section 759.08. Those are our items for legislation this evening. May I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda? Mr. Guerrero moves.
Second. Second.
Mills, Mrs. Mills, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will approve tonight's agenda by a 6-0 vote. Are there any special items? And there were no communications this evening as well. At this time, we have citizen comment and community announcements, if there are any. If any citizen would like to address council, you may do so at this time. You will be limited to 5 minutes for your remarks. Just approach the podium, state your name and address information, and we will be happy to hear from you.
Love these weeks, right? City Council Week. My name is Anthony Oquendo. I'm with Ward 1. Really, I'm only up here because I was listening to pre-council. Mr. Guerrero, you had asked a question about the streetlights. One of the things I talked about last time I was here was the app that I developed for the city, cityreport.io. There's actually a streetlight reporting helper tool within that app. I took the time and mapped every single streetlight within the city. So if you go onto the app and you click the light that is out, it will provide you with all the information that the illuminating company requests whenever you make the report. So it'll give you the closest address, closest cross street, nearest landmark if there is one available. And it will also give you the exact coordinates that you could, and all you have to do is click to copy whatever they're asking for, and then you just paste it right into the website where they're asking it. And then same with the coordinates, you just put those coordinates into the notes section of that streetlight outage report, and there's no dispute or no question about what light it is. So it's like, it pinpoints it right to where it's at, so.
And what is the name of that app again?
Cityreport.io. It's available on Android and App Store, so.
Thank you, Mr. Oquendo. Anyone else who would like to address council?
Hi, I'm Mike Farron. I would like to address a growing
Mike,
concern.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your last name.
Farron, F-E-R-R-O-N.
Thank
I live
you.
at 5106 Woodman Avenue. And first, I'd like to thank, I talked to, I think, Jane last year about the paving of Woodman Avenue, and I'm very thankful it got paved. But I have a growing concern that pavement is just getting ruined. I live, if you're not familiar with the exact, I live just north of where it kind of bends on North Woodman there, but there's semi-trucks going down that road every day, all night, and there's clearly signs about, 6 inches, 8 inches that say, no through trucks on both ends, and it's just being ignored. I didn't know if somebody from the city could either address it by contacting those businesses down there on 47th and ask them, can you tell your truck drivers that road was not designed for semi-trucks. That's why they have Benefit Avenue, who has greater foundation and is designed for semi-trucks. And already at just south of the bend, there's a hole already just being dug because where they're turning and it's just grinding that hole there, and it's just gonna ruin the road right back to what the disrepair it was in before. Also, I had talked to some of the street guys that were down there and they were working on it. I think there's a drainage issues there too, because it seems like it's that same area that just keeps getting, like washed under, and it's just tearing up that road and taking that work you guys put into it, and it's just, ruining it. So if somebody could look into maybe better signage or something, because it's got to be 50 feet into the road. They're already turned down that road by the time they see a sign. So maybe you guys can address that somehow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's North Woodman, right?
North Woodman.
Right, yes. Anyone else who would like to address council?
Jennifer German, Ward 4.
Jennifer?
I also was listening to pre-council and was thinking about a few things that were spoke upon. And I'm just curious there's a lot of improvements being done to Main Avenue. And, with the sidewalks and the streets and just everything. But it just doesn't seem to be for the full portion of Main Avenue. And I know that with that bad storm that we got yesterday, there was the water, just continues to flood underneath the train trestle there down at the south end of Main Avenue. And I'm just curious if there's any plans to improve that end of Main Avenue. Because it just doesn't seem, that happens over and over, and somebody gets stuck and the water, just continues to rise. And, there were a lot of great comments, on social media with solutions, about different signage or maybe some kind of, I don't even know what the right word is, but, just putting something in place that could prevent any more further problems with people driving through there, but not even that, just deeper than that, like doing something with the sewage system there, or the water drainage. So I was just curious if that was gonna be a part of the beautifying Main Avenue. And also, I had another question that I'd just like to propose to council, that I know there's a lot of, again, Bridge Street, Main Avenue, a lot of upkeep and maintenance and improvements, and even with the streets and the paving. And I think about places like Larson Lane and Glover Drive, where the residents who live down there and people who deliver food down there and our first responders who have to go down there, you will lose a tire driving through those streets. You'll lose your tire. It's terrible. I know that it's on the border of, who's responsible for it, but I think it's a forgot about area of the city that needs some attention. I know specifically a few people who have had to make repairs to their vehicles, that they're struggling to have vehicles, to be able to maintain their vehicles. They're not new vehicles, and so driving down the road and there's, gaping potholes that need attention. Just bringing that to the attention of council. Thank you.
Is that cement there? The roads are cement.
There hasn't been any patchwork or anything.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Timonier, are we responsible for that, or
Yeah.
those
So
are our streets?
we've had conversations with AMHA about that area as well. Much like we did for the Collins Boulevard project, we're trying to search out grants. I want to say the last time we had an estimate done, it was over $900,000 for those particular areas, because it has to be broken out and then put back with asphalt. So, and that's a year and a third of our levy funds to pave that back there. Yeah.
What's the cost of all the Main Avenue and Bridge Street upkeep?
So we haven't done anything to Bridge Street. Bridge Street,
Well, Halbert Hill's being paved.
that was a grant that we received for that. And all of Main Avenue has been a grant, except for a portion of Collins Boulevard, because it's because it's a state route, we have to contribute a little bit towards that. I think it was 200,000 we contributed towards that project of 1.9 million for that concrete area. And then the sidewalks are all grant funded, which was specifically for the sidewalks.
To the grant the side.
That's what I mentioned, that's what I said. We had been looking for grants for that development.
Thank you.
Mr. President, so, Mr. Manager, and you know, we've had numerous conversations on that area in Main Avenue when it gets
Oh, yes.
rain fast
Yeah.
and furious. And I know, and we've had the guys check out and stuff, so
Yeah,
I'm not
we've
sure.
televised all the lines. There are
Yeah.
no issues. There's no breaks. There's no collapse. It's wide open. It actually doesn't flow far. I can't remember if it's Ross Road or Riverside where the outlet is. So it comes right from there and heads right over the hill down to the Gulf. Unfortunately, there's been times where the water has been rising. Public Works has put blockades out, and people have moved the blockades and floated their cars into it. So we run that issue as well, where we put road closed signs out, and people will move those and ignore them and go around them. We have talked about different indicators on the wall, trying to figure out how that would work to be able to signal, don't go in. But I mean, it's the mantra in driving, the turn around, don't drown. I mean, you should not drive through any type of water,
Standing water.
standing water, yeah. Mhm. But we have been through all of those lines down there, and they're wide open, and they're not small lines, they're big lines. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one else wanting to address council, we will move on with our agenda. Our next order of business is we will approve our minutes. Council meeting, pre-council meeting Monday, January 1st, 2026. June 1st, thank you. The meeting was called to order at 6 o'clock by President Roskovich. Present were Mr. Roskovich, Mr. Simeone, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Mrs. Mills, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, Finance Director Khan, and Clerk of Council Milberg. Absent was Ms. Holman. May I have a motion to adopt the minutes?
So moved.
Second,
Mrs. Foglio moves, Mr. Guerrero seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will approve those minutes by a 6-0 vote. Our regular meeting on June the 1st, 2026 was called to order at 7:01 by President Roskovich. Ward 4 Councilor Mills offered the opening prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Present was President Roskovich, Mr. Simeone, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Mrs. Mills, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Timonier, City Solicitor Cooper, Finance Director Khan, and Clerk of Council Milberg. Absent was Ms. Holman. Are there a motion to adopt these minutes?
So moved.
second,
Mrs. Foglio moves and Mrs. Mills seconds. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will approve those minutes by a 6-0 vote. Okay. We have no resolutions that we are requesting or presenting, so we will move on to our new business. Okay? We have these ordinances for tonight for consideration. Okay. Sorry, I have to read all these again, so you'll have to bear with me. 26-107, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a community reinvestment tax incentive agreement with Tamara Salient. This is a residential tax abatement, 100% for 7 years, at a new structure on 1034 Ohio Avenue. 26-108, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a community reinvestment area tax incentive agreement with Lindsay Step. This is a new tax abatement residential at 100% for 7 years for a new structure at 1802 West 10th Street, Ashtabula, Ohio. Ordinance number 109, 26109, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a change order number 1 with Lake County Landscape and Supply, no change of cost, to complete the construction, the restoration of the sidewalks on West Avenue. 26110, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to purchase a 2009 IHC 7400 garbage truck for the sanitation department. This purchase will be made from the refuse equipment and truck services, and the funds will come from 225, Fund 225. Excuse me. Ordinance 26111, an ordinance to authorize an addendum to the agreement with Concierge Nurse Navigators LLC. 26112, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter in an agreement with the Ashtabula County YMCA for lifeguards. 26113, an ordinance enacting the adoption of the City of Ashtabula's unclaimed funds policy. 26114, an ordinance authorizing the finance director of the City of Ashtabula to determine salary allocations among various city funds. Ordinance 26115, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a partnership with the County of Ashtabula to file an application with the Ohio Development Service Agency to apply for a Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program grant. These are known as CHIP funds. 26116, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a change order number 1 with Katz Construction Incorporated for the deduction of the Main Avenue streetscape improvements. Ordinance 26117, an ordinance appealing Ordinance 2654 for the purpose of enacting replacement legislation. Ordinance 26118, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding for the administration of the Appalachian Community Grant Program with Eastgate Regional Council of Governments. This is for the purpose of the Main Avenue facade program and project within the city of Ashtabula. (26-119), an ordinance repealing Ordinance 2696 for the purpose of enacting replacement legislation. In Ordinance 26-120, an ordinance adopting an amended City of Ashtabula capital improvement policy. Is there a motion to handle tonight's agenda in consent agenda format?
No. Ordinance number 2026-107 and 2026-108.
Okay. Ordinance 2026-107. May I have a motion to waive the reading of this legislation in its entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, just give me 1 minute, Mr. Grimm. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote. May I have a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings?
So moved.
Second.
Who made the first motion?
Ms. Holman.
Okay. Ms. Holman moved, Mrs. Foglio seconds. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
This is on waiving 2 readings.
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero,
Yes.
Mr. Holman, Ms. Holman,
Yes.
Mr. Simeone, and Mr. Roskovich, yes. We will waive 2 readings by a 6-0 vote. We will now vote on passage of 26-107. Ms. Mills,
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo,
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero,
Yes.
Ms. Holman,
No.
Mr. Roskovich, yes. That item has passed by a 5-1 vote.
Those items.
Item 26-108, can I have a motion to waive the reading of this legislation in its entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Foglio moves and Ms. Holman seconds. Was it Ms. Holman or Ms. Mills?
Holman.
Ms. Holman seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote. May I have a motion to waive the charter requirements for 2 readings?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves and Ms. Foglio seconds. Any discussion? Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
No.
Mr. Roskovich, yes. We will waive the charter requirements of 2 readings by a 5-1 vote. We will now vote on the adoption of this legislation.
Just voted on that.
This is on passage.
We just voted on that. The second reading.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
No.
Mr. Roskovich, yes. That item has passed by a 5-1 vote. Is it council's desire to handle items 26-109 through 26-120 in consent agenda format?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will handle these items in consent agenda format by a 6-0 vote. May I have a motion to waive the charter requirements of the, reading these items in their entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves, Ms. Foglio second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote. I will now have entertain a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Foglio moves, Ms. Holman seconds. Is there any discussion? Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich? Yes. Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
We will waive the charter requirements by a 6-0 vote. We will now vote on the passage of these items. Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich, yes. Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
And Mrs. DiGiacomo.
Yes.
These items have passed by a 6-0 vote. Okay. Thank you for bearing with us. We're almost there. We have 2 items that are on their first reading. An ordinance repealing in its entirety codified ordinance 759.08 for the purpose of removing the requirement to obtain a completed FBI and BCI background check. And ordinance 2698, an ordinance enacting codified ordinance section 759.08. Is it council's desire to handle these two items in consent agenda format?
Isn't this a first reading only?
Oh, yes, but, consent agenda requests for, and then we're just gonna vote on waiving the reading. So we could waive the reading individually, or we could waive the readings at both times, so.
I'll move on that.
Consent agenda, we will, okay. Mrs. Foglio moves. Mr. Roskovich will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will handle these two items together by a 6-0 vote. Can I have a motion to waive the reading of these items in their entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves and Mrs. Mills seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And anyone opposed? So these items be waived the reading by a 6-0 vote, and they will appear on our agenda next month. And I think that's it for our discussion, our ordinances for this evening. Thank you for bearing with me on that. See, that's gonna go here. Okay. All right. Is there any items? Second readings, we have no items on second reading tonight. Okay, and nothing to pass. No administrative votes or appointments that need to take place. So we come to the part of the meeting where it's tell us something we don't know. Does anyone have anything this evening that they'd like to share?
I do.
Go ahead, please. Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yep. On June 25th is our second Bands on the Beach, which is the Madison Jazz Project, and it'll be from 7 to 9. And I heard from people that had attended the first Bands on the Beach that it was fantastic.
Mr. President?
Thank you.
Were you finished? Were you finished? On this Friday, June 19th, some of you know, some of you don't know, we celebrate Juneteenth. Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Happiness. There will be music reenactments and recital, gospel ensemble from People's Missionary Baptist Church, Ohio's 5th USCT, U.S. Colored Troops, American Civil War, Soldiers, Harriet Tubman reenactment, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I Have a Dream speech by Reverend Dr. German Womack. Friday, June 9th, at the First Congregational United Church of Christ at 41 East Jefferson Street in Jefferson, Ohio, to begin at 6:30. Everyone is welcome.
Mr. President?
Yes.
A couple things. Something kind of cool happening at the Dream Center, which is now on Benefit Avenue. This is free Tuesday, June 23rd from 10:30 to 1:30. Learn about programs, screenings, and services for you and your family. So they have UH hospitals there, Home Safe, the health department, our health department's there, Starting Point, Signature Health, What If Network, the YMCA, the County Health Department, Beyond Healthcare, Psych Plus, Mental Health and Recovery Services, Cleveland Rape Crisis Center, Buckeye Pace, Ravenwood Health, Catholic Charities, Impact Recovery Services, Help Me Grow, and Brightview Health. So a lot of good information. They've been doing a lot of good things there. Another thing, I think this is really cool. I need to do this myself. Electronic waste recycling event. How cool is this? Saturday, June 27th from 9 to 12:30. This is at the First United Church of Christ. This is in Austinburg on Route 307. Have an old phone, a laptop, tablet that doesn't work. Get rid of old electronics in an eco-friendly way. So this is from the 4-H Club in cooperation with Goodwill Northeast, holding a countywide e-waste recycling event. This is phones, tablets, MP3 players, iPods, printers, ink cartridges, all those old cables you have, monitors, flat screen TVs. They just won't take the big tube TVs. So they have a way to, as devices are updated, it's important to dispose of old ones in a way that is simple and secure. So I think this will be a big hit. So spread the word on that one. And there's also,
A question on that?
yes,
Do they scrub your information clean?
somehow they do, because it's supposed to be secure. So that's why mine are all sitting at home and I don't know what to do with them. So it's on my to-do list. So you have some time, because that's the 27th. There's another cool resource and tech fair, free and open to the community at our mall on June 17th this week on Wednesday from 11 to 3. This is by the Ashtabula County Board of Developmental Disabilities. So join them. It's designed to connect people of all abilities with technology, resources, and community supports that promote independence and inclusion. So that's another good event. And I wanted to promote, our library is doing a Kite Fest. This is a second annual Kite Fest. Saturday, the 27th, same weekend as Beach Glass Festival. There's an open fly from 11 to 2, all ages. Fly your kite on the library lawn. Food and games. Every child gets a free kite or a glider to take home. If you're 7 to 15, you can go a little earlier from 10 to 11, and they have a kite making workshop. So just another thing promoting all the good things our library does. And on that, I want to give a shout out to Safety Town in conjunction with the city schools, high school volunteers, our police department, fire department, our dog warden, and EMS personnel. My grandson, I get a little choked up. He's autistic and was afraid to go to Safety Town. Officer Brown, I think that's her name, it's a female,
Yes.
took my little Connor under her wing, and he stayed the whole time. I have pictures, he did the fire hose, he got on the school bus. So they allowed him to feel safe and like he had a friend. So can you please let her know? It was amazing, great program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills.
Mr. President, on June 20th, we have our pickleball tournaments taking place down at Walnut Beach on the courts. At 10:30, there's matches, I believe, from 8 to 10:30 is the first bunch of people playing. And at that time, at 10:30, they were going to be dedicating the sign for Mr. Manis. So if you'd like to come down, and all proceeds from the pickleball tournament go to the American Heart Association. So it's a good cause. I think there are going to be food trucks down there. I think they have quite a big event.
Thank you, Mrs. Fogler. I think also on June 20th this weekend, I think they're having the LGBT barbecue down Walnut Beach, as opposed to having their annual festival. I think they're just having a barbecue this year. And also next weekend, because we won't be here till then, is the Beach Glass Festival. And that's a huge event here in Ashtabula. People from all over the area, really, New York, Washington, wherever people from all over the area come and spend time in Ashtabula at the Beach Glass Festival. So it's a lot of stuff to go shopping for, the restaurants and so forth. So keep that in mind. And that's one of our big summer events.
Mr. President,
Yes.
just one other one. It seems like, it's hard to believe that people say there's nothing to do in Ashtabula. We've just rattled off all these events. Well, there's one more that we forgot. Coming up this weekend on the 20th, the Slice of Summer returns to the historic harbor. It's down there on that grassy area by Goodwill Industries and the hotel. It was a real hit last year. I think it starts at 10 a.m. On Saturday. So lots to do in the next coming weekends.
Yeah, that ended up to be a big event, the Slice of Summer. So yeah, very good. Oh, yeah, there is a lot to do.
Oh, Mr. President,
Yes.
there's a ribbon cutting too for that patina.
Oh, yeah, when is that? That's,
That is,
yeah. I don't,
it, oh, it's next Friday at 9:30 a.m. 1467 Bridge Street, Patina on the Lake, another new business. So, yes, there's something to do every single day.
yes. Okay. So, seeing that, I believe we're at the end of our time together. We will meet again on July 6th at 6 o'clock. No, yeah, right, 6 o'clock. And until then, we'll have the 4th of July. Enjoy your 4th of July weekend. And obviously, like we said tonight, enjoy Ashtabula. A lot going on. So thank you for coming. Everybody, you have our best.